Welcome to Broncos Weekend, presented by Ent Credit Union, the official banking partner of the Denver Broncos.
Welcome to a playoff edition of Broncos Weekend. That's right, a playoff edition, because the Denver Broncos are in the dance for the first time since 2015. As the number 7 seed, they head on the road to face the number 2 seed, the Buffalo Bills. A showdown between Josh Allen and Bo Nix on Sunday. We're here to get you ready for the matchup. As always, I am your host and Denver Broncos team reporter, Elisa Hernandez. And in the studio, we have Denver 7's Bradey King and former Bronco and ESPN analyst Orlando Franklin. Hall of Famer Steve Atwater will join the fun later. It's playoff time, a long time coming for Broncos Country. Guys, how much are you looking forward to game day?
I mean, super exciting, right? They finally end that playoff drought, and now they have an opportunity to go really shock the world. They're the underdogs. Not many people expect them to do big things, so I feel like they have the edge in that, right? That they can go out and really prove themselves in Buffalo. Now, don't get me wrong, it's going to be an extremely tough matchup. They're going out up against Josh Allen, who's front runner for MVP. This team has not lost at home, and they're on an 11-game win streak. So it's going to be tough, but the Broncos have the edge in being an underdog, I think.
Yeah.
No, I'm right there with you. You know, in the National Football League, you constantly talk about any given Sunday. And I think that once you get to the playoffs, that's when it really comes into effect, where teams can underestimate you as a football team or, you know, overlook you and start looking to next week. I've been a part of some Bronco teams where we actually have done that. So I think this year's team is in a really good situation, having to go out there to Orchard Park this weekend and try to get a win against this Buffalo Bills football team.
Yeah, Sean Payton had said young and hungry can be dangerous. And it kind of bodes well for them that they recently had a win on the road against the Bills last year on Monday Night Football.
Oh, no doubt. I mean, primetime lights were on, right? So you're going back through that film, even though the culture has changed and this football team has got so much younger, new quarterback and everything, you're still going back and seeing how you got that win while the whole world was watching. It's going to be, you know, stealing possessions. Last time they played Buffalo, 4 turnovers the Broncos were able to create, but also controlling the time of possession all game, where they had over 37 minutes where they possessed the football.
Yeah, I think it just shows that it's possible, right? They went in on a primetime stage last season and were able to show what they could do. And yes, totally different team, but there were some guys that were on that team that hopefully are being the louder voices this week of what it takes to go into Bills Mafia territory and take care of business.
Yeah, well, we caught up with head coach Sean Payton and wide receiver Courtland Sutton after practice, as both are heading into their first playoff game with the Broncos.
Yeah, there's a confidence level that has to be built, though. It can't be just manifested on its own, and that's taken place throughout the course of the season. So, you know, we're going to have to play. Obviously, we're playing a real good football team, and we're going to have to play a real complete game.
I think one of the biggest misconceptions about this opportunity that we have is everyone feels like the Broncos are happy and satisfied with just making the playoffs. And I'm here to denote that right now. Like, yes, we are happy to have made the playoffs. However, it's not about just making the playoffs. It's now that we're in, it's 1 week at a time, and the record's is 0-0.
The Broncos finished with a top 10 offense this season, and when you look at the defense, they led the NFL in sacks, and now the Bills have given up the fewest sacks, but the defense is really gonna have to work hard to get to Josh Allen.
Yeah, Josh Allen has been really, really good. You know, it's the league's best defense when you look at the sacks numbers going against a offense that, to me, it's the best offensive line right now. They've been playing really, really well. I believe it's only 14 sacks on the season. You know, when you think about playing a whole entire football season and only giving up 14 sacks in 17 games, that's elite at this level. So it's going to be a big time matchup, and that's what you got to think is going to come down to in winning this football game this week. Can this defense sustain and continue to do what we've seen this year? We know that it's led the league in sacks, but how do you get after Josh Allen this week? Can you find a way to get 3-4 sacks? Because that will mean a world of a difference, but also it'll frustrate the heck out of that offense with Buffalo as well.
Because they're not used to that.
No, I think this offense will obviously be a challenge for our defense, but vice versa, right? We have the talent as well. You mentioned most sacks versus fewest sacks. So I think it'll be fun to see those two go to head to head. And this Broncos defense, I feel like they're just fired up. Pat Surtain mentioned going up against his old buddy Von Miller, who has obviously a rich history winning Super Bowl 50 with the Broncos. But Pat said it's our time to shine now, which I hope is true. You know, I think he's eager to see his pal, but also they want to win. I think this defense knows they've got a lot to prove against Josh Allen's crew.
Well, the Broncos defense has 3 players with 20-plus QB hits this season, one being outside linebacker Jonathan Cooper. We caught up with him as he prepares for his first playoff game. Congratulations on making it to the playoffs. This team has been through so much this season. As you look ahead to this matchup against the Buffalo Bills, how do you guys build on the momentum from the big win in Week 18?
Yeah, honestly, it's just getting back to work for us and realizing the stakes are higher now, and you know, seeing where we're at. You know, we've done the things that we've done well this regular season. We just got to stay on those things and get back in the film and get our rest. You know, to make sure that we're good to go for Sunday. But you know, I feel like everybody's gonna be ready for it for sure.
This team finished with a franchise best 63 sacks. You had your fair share of those, as well as QB hits. What is the key to slowing down Josh Allen?
Yeah, putting pressure on them, and it's keeping up definitely those things that we've done this season. We got to keep those things up for sure, and get after them. You know, they haven't given up a lot of sacks this year. Their O-line's pretty good, and Josh Allen is really good with extending plays and again, moving around in the pocket. He has good feel and awareness, and he can make every throw too. And he's a tall guy, so you know we got to put pressure on him. We got to bring our A game and make sure we're all ready for this one.
They say that playoffs is different. This is the first playoff game for a lot of your teammates, including yourself. How do you guys handle the emotions going into this game?
Just gotta keep everything within ourselves, like in the team, in the locker room, within the coaches and everything like that. Can't get caught up in the media or what anybody else is really saying about us, because we did prove so many people wrong. We just have to keep doing it. And, you know, I feel like we're going to do it again. We just have to stay together, stay strong, make sure we bring that energy, make sure we get our rest, and then just get after it. And then show the nation and show the world, you know, who we are again.
How excited are you for your first playoff game, especially knowing how well Broncos Country travels?
Oh man, I'm super excited. You know, I feel like I'm really. It's about time, you know, getting kind of late in this league and stuff like that. So no, I'm really excited, and I know our guys are excited too, and I'll just let this team. I love playing with this team. You can't replace it. You know, you can't replace the players and the people that we have, and just the unity that we have together and the brotherhood. So, you know, I'm always giving my guys everything I got. So I'm really excited for it.
Appreciate your time and best of luck on Sunday.
All right, thank you.
Buffalo has hosted a wild card game in each of the last 4 seasons and are 4-0 in those games. The Broncos are no strangers to being the underdog and are coming off a shutout win versus a division rival. How do you sustain that momentum playing in a hostile environment?
It's because it's a hostile environment that you sustain the momentum.
Rise up.
Yeah, you know, you're getting ready to go to a place where you're going to get booed, and when the offense is on the field, it's going to be as loud as possible. Mm-hmm. So, you know, it's a us against the world mentality, right? Mm-hmm. Where nobody's coming to save you if you're a part of this Broncos football team. How do you go out there and silence 70,000 people? I've always been a big fan of those moments. And when you also realize the whole world is watching, and this is how stars are made in the playoffs, right? So I think this young, hungry football team is going to be fired up, because a lot of guys are still trying to make a name for themselves.
Yeah, that's why you play, right? To play in these big moments. Yes, the Broncos made a big statement win against the Chiefs, so they had the momentum going into this week, but I don't think they necessarily need it. This is the playoffs. This is what everybody's been talking about, finally getting over that hump and going into Bills territory. I feel like they just already do have that juice. Bo Nix said one way they can help silence 70,000 people would be to score on that first drive.
Yeah, and Bo Nix said it best. He said, don't let anyone tell you what you can be. And I think that this team has really absorbed that mentality and are ready for game day. Well, after the break, we will check in with Hall of Famer Steve Atwater at the video wall as our Hall of Famer and Orlando Franklin break down Bo Nix's performance that secured a playoff berth. Plus, we have the numbers you need to know ahead of Sunday. We'll be right back.
Bank better with Broncos checking from Ent Credit Union, the official banking partner of the Denver Broncos.
In a way, you don't really have anything to lose. Nobody's got all this pressure on you, so you can go out there and, you know, play your best, because nobody expects you to do well anyway. So You know, it's cliche and it sounds cheesy, but, you know, most people, they literally didn't expect us to be here. So we might as well continue to, you know, not worry about those things.
Welcome back to Broncos Weekend. That was quarterback Bo Nix talking about being the underdog going into this matchup versus the Buffalo Bills. This season, Nix led the Broncos to 10 wins, throwing for over 3,000 yards and 29 passing touchdowns, second most by a rookie in NFL history. In Week 18, he delivered an impressive performance to secure a playoff spot and get him AFC Offensive Player of the Week honors. For more, let's check in with Hall of Famer Steve Atwater and former Bronco and ESPN analyst Orlando Franklin.
Thanks to that, Elisa. Big O. Now we're going to go over some plays here from last week's game against the Chiefs. Bo Nix, man, this guy's been playing lights out football. This particular play here, he comes out, he sees cover two safeties lined up back here deep, corners trying to take outside away there, and drops back to pass the ball. And we'll see Courtland Sutton is going to get jammed off the line of scrimmage. This cornerback is on the outside of him, and the offensive line does a great job up front of stopping that defensive line. And Courtland is going to try to get on top of that guy as quickly as possible to get wide. And Marvin Mims is also stressing this safety out. And Bo Nix is just going to make a great pass here. Looking to the left, throwing to the right, getting it out of there quickly. And great anticipation on this pass here. What did you see in this play, Big O?
Yeah, a lot of what you just said, Steve. You know, you talk about cover two. Typically, when you play cover two, linebackers are not up like that, right? But Bo Nix recognizes the window dressing of the defense. He's calm, shows the poise in the pocket. I love the fact of when we get to this other view, what you're going to see right here, you talked about the offensive line, right? The pocket. And as the interior guys go, you're taught to keep it flat. Offensive tackles, you want to run those guys around the edges, right? And then you want Bo Nix to be able to step up in the pocket. But pre-snap, you see these two safeties. Bo Nix understands that this is him trusting Courtland Sutton is not going to get jammed at the line of scrimmage, trusting that he's going to get back to his position. He's able to use his eyes to hold the safeties, and then he throws the right type of ball for a huge explosive up the sidelines. So we're constantly seeing Bo Nix just get better and better each and every week, but also manipulating defenses as well.
Yes. This next play here, we got Bo Nix. We got the defense showing cover one. These receivers are going to be covered man-to-man. And as the play gets started here, Bo Nix is going to do a great job with the play action pass here, faking the ball to the halfback. And then we're going to see the back, Aldrich Estime, going to do a good job of noticing that the tight end is not going to fully get that defensive end. He's going to chip him. Bo Nix is able to step up into that crease there and is able to throw a pass that I don't know if I would have thrown. I know I couldn't have made this pass. He got it right over the linebacker's head, right into some traffic there. And man, I don't know how Courtland Sutton came up with this play. When offensive linemen see their quarterbacks doing this, what goes through your mind?
They are out there just balling. He's in the zone, right? But Steve, I want you to freeze it for me real quick. Just press pause.
Yes.
Right? So we used to run this play back here when I was with the Broncos. So this is just, we call this gavel, right? This is duo. This is 600 pounds on 300 pounds, right? So you're going to get a heavy double team from this offensive line right here, and you're going to go to the second level. Same thing exactly right here. What I love about this play is Bo Nix understands that Nate Atkins is going to be one-on-one on the defensive end.
Yes.
But he knows that Aldrich Estime, after the play fake, has the late delay help, right? Whether it's inside or outside, you got to help your tight end out because you got your double teams, and you put your left tackle on an island by itself. So Bo Nix understands where the help or where the potential problem is.
Gotcha.
So continue to roll the play. That's why you see him be able to step up
to the left. He knows where it's going to be.
Exactly. He understands exactly where it's at. Aldrich Estime, but I'm going to trust that Garrett Bowles is going to go there. And man, it's just trusting Courtland Sutton is going to make a play for him. Put it up. Those 50-50 balls, not 50-50 when you're throwing to 14, right?
That's right. Great.
75-25 his way.
That's right. Great play. All right, Elisa, back to you.
Thanks, guys. The Broncos travel to Buffalo in an AFC wildcard matchup on Sunday. Denver is playing its first playoff game since 2015, while the Bills host their fourth consecutive wildcard game. This will be the second time the two franchises meet in the postseason. Ahead of kickoff, we have the numbers you need to know. It will be a big test for the defense on Sunday. Denver heads into the playoffs ranking 3rd in scoring defense and having led the NFL in sacks with 63, which also set a franchise record. The Broncos defense allowed a total of 285.4 yards per game versus teams that made the playoffs in 2024 and ranked 2nd in yards allowed per play. On the other side of the ball, the Bills have allowed the fewest sacks this season. Their offense scored 30-plus points in 12 games this year, giving them the 2nd highest scoring offense in the NFL. Buffalo also had the fewest giveaways with 8. Looking to get after Bills QB Josh Allen is defensive lineman Zach Allen, who led the NFL with 40 QB hits. He finished the season with a career-high 8.5 sacks. The Broncos were the only team with 3 players with 20-plus QB hits in 2024. Joining Allen were outside linebackers Nick Bonito and Jonathan Cooper. Broncos quarterback Bo Nix has been a dual threat this season. He finished the regular season with 29 passing touchdowns, which are the 2nd most for a rookie in NFL history. 10 of those touchdowns came on the road. Using his speed and mobility, Nix also has 904 pass yards on the run. The Bills have allowed 10 passing touchdowns on the run in 2024. In Week 18, Nix recorded an 80-plus completion percentage, 300-plus passing yards, and 4-plus passing touchdowns for the 2nd time in his career. No other rookie has had a single game with those thresholds. Nix led the Broncos to their first playoff berth in 8 seasons and finished with a top 10 scoring offense in 2024, averaging 25 points per game. Looking at some other playmakers, the dynamic duo of wide receivers Marvin Mims Jr. and Courtland Sutton will make their playoff debut on Sunday. The Broncos have scored 24-plus points in 7 straight games. Sutton broke 1,000 receiving yards this season. In Week 18, he finished with 98 yards and a touchdown. Mims recorded back-to-back games with 2 touchdowns. In Week 18, he had 51 yards on 5 receptions. On the other side, Bills wideout Amari Cooper recorded 547 yards and 4 TDs this season, while running back James Cook finished with over 1,000 yards and 16 touchdowns. Denver's defense held running backs to 3.9 yards per carry, while cornerback Pat Surtain ranked top 5 in yards per snap and passer rating allowed as the nearest defender in coverage. When we come back, Denver 7's Bradey King will take a closer look at Surtain's numbers to make a case for Defensive Player of the Year. And we'll finish getting you ready for Wild Card Weekend. Stay right there.
Ball deflected up the air. It's going to be intercepted. Surtain's got his 2nd of the game. Yes, sir.
Welcome back into Broncos Weekend. Now that the regular season is over, we are officially on award watch. And Pat Surtain II has a chance to become just the 7th cornerback to ever win Defensive Player of the Year. So consider this my formal petition for PS2 to win. His stats truly speak for themselves. This past regular season, he totaled 11 pass breakups, 4 interceptions, 1 forced fumble, and a 100-yard pick 6 with Hall of Famer Champ Bailey in attendance. Now, among all NFL corners with at least 400 snaps, Pat Surtain has allowed the lowest passer rating at 39.1. A QB's passer rating would actually be higher if they just threw it into the ground on each pass. He also ranked 1st in fewest yards allowed, fewest air yards per target, and fewest missed tackles, just to name a few. And let's not forget, he's going up against the best receivers in the league each week. In fact, the Broncos faced 5 AFC Pro Bowl pass catchers this season, and Pat Surtain held them to a combined 56 yards, which is crazy compared to the 606 yards they combined for against other corners. But no matter how it shakes out, Broncos Country is just happy to have Pat Surtain on our sideline for at least the next 4 years, as he signed a 4-year contract extension with the Broncos back in September. Surtain has already been racking up the accolades this season. He's a Pro Bowl game starter, and the NFLPA just selected him to the 2024 All-Pro team. We caught up with Pat about what that honor means to him.
It means a lot, especially coming from your peers. I think that's the highest regard you could get. I mean, the guys you compete with each and every week. But yeah, I think it's a huge honor, especially from that perspective, getting recognition from the players, being first team. So yeah, it's an incredible honor for sure.
A year for Pat, to say the least. And he's not finished. I mean, playoff Pat hopefully is a whole different beast.
Yeah, I can't wait to see playoff Pat. But the accolades keep coming, and they're so well-deserved. As for all the numbers and stats that we just heard, it'll be interesting to see if he goes up against Amari Cooper this weekend. He's had great success against the best guys in the league. So hopefully he continues to be that lockdown corner we know him as.
It's a lot of firsts for the guys on this team. The first playoff game. Oh, when you think back to your experience, What advice would you give these young guys as they're going into their first playoff game? Even some of the vets.
Yeah. My offensive line coach, when I was at the University of Miami, told me a long time ago, hungry dogs run faster. And I never really understood exactly what that means. But once you get to the NFL, there's 3 different speeds. And when you get to the playoffs, it kicks up a notch. So for all these guys, with the Broncos that have never seen a postseason, and you got PS2 going to his first one, right? We all know what he has been. Don't be surprised or shocked with the speed that you see this week. It will kick up a notch. The guys will play every single play like it's their last. Like you don't not hold back, because that could be the play that changes the game or gives your team the momentum to allow you now to become victorious. So yeah, hungry dogs run faster. Go out there this week and just strap up from the first snap all the way through the last snap, and just understand that there's another level out there.
Well, like you said, the biggest moments happen in the playoffs. So it's time for us to call game. You guys know how this works. First playoff game for many Broncos players. Oh, who do you have calling game? Which dog is out there going to be hungry?
Oh, man. There's so many different guys, right, when you look at it. But I'm going to go with PJ Locke. I feel like he is right there on the edge. And last time we played against the Buffalo Bills, Josh Allen accounted for 2 interceptions, and the Broncos were able to get 4 takeaways. I think PJ has leveled up each and every week, and I could just see him getting that interception that seals it this week and have me jumping on my couch up and down. So I got him calling game.
Bradey?
This is not going to shock anybody, but I'm going Bo Nix, the rookie, right? The young gun, one of the best rookies in this class, going up against one of the best veterans. I feel like it'll be fun to see what he can do. Bo Nix has shined under pressure, has not looked like a rookie since day one, really. So it'll be fun to see him take on that next level speed here in the playoffs. I'm going Bo Nix.
Well, we can't wait for Sunday to see who calls game. Kickoff is set for 11 a.m. Mountain Time, and that'll do it for this playoff edition of Broncos Weekend. For Denver 7's Bradey King, former Bronco and ESPN analyst Orlando Franklin, and Hall of Famer Steve Atwater, I am your host and Denver Broncos team reporter Elisa Hernandez. The climb continues, Broncos Country. Thanks for watching.